as the Positive Girl, and today we have Zipporah here, the
Hello,
founder
hello.
of Everyday Esther. So you
Yes,
can tell them a little bit about yourself, even though we just,
girl, I'm
dabbled in
on
that a
mute.
little bit, but you can go ahead.
Okay. What's up, you guys? My name is Zipporah Marie Baldwin. I'm a senior at Hampton University. I'm also a lot of other things, like an entrepreneur, a nonprofit owner of Everyday Esther, and I'm also a blogger. I write. Check out allthingzmarie.com. But anyways, I'm on here today on the Everyday Esther platform because I created Everyday Esther in freshman year of college because I wanted to create a space where women could recognize themselves, everyday women could recognize themselves as queens, exactly who God calls us to be. So that's what I'm here on earth doing, trying to help other women recognize their value and their worth. So that's me.
That's exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I just thought about this because the first time I ever seen you like on a platform, I think you were doing your French project.
Girl.
And I was like, but it was so good. I said, this is amazing. She is really talented.
Thank
And
you.
then I started seeing like that you would do like kind of like events. So you did something by the waterfront, I remember. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. But every time I would literally see it too late and I would be like, dang, I done missed another opportunity.
Yeah.
But I think it's amazing that you are doing something that is bringing women closer to Christ on Hampton's campus, because there's a lot of women empowerment groups, of course, but something sets each one apart from the
Right.
other. So this question I just thought of. So what do you think sets your organization apart from others?
Faith, honestly, that's honestly what I would say, because it's like when it comes to women empowerment, I feel like a lot of, not shaming anyone, of course, because I mean we're all here for one common goal, to empower women, obviously. But I feel like sometimes the basis of a lot of women empowerment groups, at least some of the ones that I have seen, have been like inspirational and motivational quotes and things like that. But the standpoint that I came from is like God shared with me to start this so that we could see lives change, at their core, not just
Yes.
empower a woman for the day, but, actually change her life for a lifetime. So definitely for Everyday Esther, that is what sets us apart, is that we're faith-based and faith-driven.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. So, since you already started talking a little bit about why you started Everyday Esther, can you give us the meaning behind the name?
Yes, yes. So I remember it like it was yesterday, okay? I was in my dorm room and I was living by myself in my dorm, freshman year of college at Hampton University. And I was on my bed, and honestly, I was going through this season where I was just trying to seek God more and more. When I came to college my freshman year, it was crazy because it was like my faith had transformed for the better. And it's so crazy because I talked about this a little bit before, but when you get to college, people expect you to loosen up, go crazy, go wild, this, that, and the
Yeah.
third. But it was like I had an extreme opposite experience. I got to college and I just really got rooted in my faith. So I was talking to God this one night and I was just like, God, like I'm seeing all this stuff and it was grieving my heart. I was seeing these women who, they would come to me like for advice, or, they were sharing with me that they didn't value themselves, that they didn't see themselves as worthy, or that they were going to do this or going to do that, which they didn't really agree with in their heart. So I was going to God. I was like, look, God, look, bro, I'm not enjoying seeing this. Like, I was like, God, something has to be done. And I was like, here I am. Like use me. And I knew that God had called me for something great. And I knew that he had called me for something greater than just going to school every day at Hampton. So he brought me this vision in regards to Everyday Esther. And that one night, it was just like a flow. Like I had all these ideas all of a sudden, all of these like event plans all of a sudden. And he brought me the name. He led me to scripture, which was the book of Esther. It's biblical based. And basically, Esther was an orphan. Her original name was Hadassah, and she becomes a queen. So if you see my T-shirt, it says Everyday Esther, restoring queens to their designated thrones. So that's exactly what it's all about, is that we're helping everyday women to recognize their full value and their total potential as queens. And so since he brought me to the book of Esther, I was literally in a dictionary and I was like, what's an E word that would sound good with Esther? And he was just, trying to get me to remember the mission of what he had called me to do. And I was like, every day. I was like, that's so perfect. And I said it out loud every day, Esther. I was like, that's it, God. That's it. So yeah, it's a long story, but that's
beautiful. I'm glad you allowed God to use you and for you to be obedient when
right,
he said,
right.
I need you to do this, and you literally did it. And you were saying how in college, everyone goes there and they're like, oh, I get to live my life a little bit, turn up,
Like
party.
it's golden.
But and you were just like, look, I'm going the God way, honestly.
Yeah.
But I love that. That is really beautiful. So I know with your nonprofit you do community service initiative. So I wanted to know which one was your favorite, whichever one you did.
Definitely. There are a few that are on the top of my list, but probably the best one, since I feel so called to the Hampton area, is working with the boys and girls at the Boys and Girls Club. I absolutely love those kids. And my favorite initiative that we've done with them, since they are now our partner, was probably the Christmas drive of 2019. It was amazing. We probably served like 30 to 35 kids, and each kid got like 3 gifts. It was a beautiful
That's
thing.
beautiful.
It was beautiful just to see like the outpour of abundance of gifts. And it's so crazy because sometimes coming from a privileged household, like I'm from suburbs, like I know not what it is to have Black,
Yeah.
But I feel called to serve those in marginalized communities, those that may be in like underprivileged communities or low income households. So to see the smiles on their faces from getting just gifts, it was amazing. So definitely the toy drive last year.
That's wonderful. And I thank you for actually helping kids from communities where they really don't have much, because I know how it feels, and I try to give back as much as I can because
Right.
I live in an impoverished city, so I know how it is to see kids go without. So here at Embrace Positivity, we also do kind of book bag drives. We did a project called the Period Project where we donated women hygiene products to a women's shelter. So thank you, because that is amazing. I love when women are actually giving back. It's just, oh, it gives me tingles. It's just this is exciting.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the goals within your organization if you wanted to share them, because there might be a couple business owners on here, just so that, they can get a little push of going forward with their nonprofit or their organizer or their business. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the ultimate mission, the ultimate goal is to create a space, whether that's online, in person, however that manifests, but to create a community where everyone feels welcome, every young woman, every girl, where she feels welcome, where she can pull up with no shame of her insecurities, where she can come and not feel like the world is going to judge her. So that's our ultimate goal. That's the number one goal. But other than that, some goals that we want to do is definitely grow our following so that we can, change more lives. Of course, that's always a goal, is to largen the brand. And just to probably expand across multiple platforms. So eventually to expand into YouTube, maybe to do such interviews as this, or I don't know, radio, TV one day. Who knows, But
whatever God calls, you go.
Exactly, whatever God says, that's where we'll move. But just expansion for sure. Definitely a goal.
Well, now that she said expansion, everybody, please, once this is over, please go ahead and follow Esther there, because she wants the following, so go do it. So then once you started to talk about how girls need someone to talk to, just with no judgment, we're going to go to your couch convos. And I watched the one where you said,
right
where you were talking about vulnerability. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. So can you please tell us how you started Couch Convos, or what, what you plan on doing with Couch Convos, and how it will benefit your community or your following?
For sure. Honestly, I have no idea where Couch Convos came from other than God. Literally, it's so crazy because I love to take pictures. Hi, I am on purpose. Hello. I like to take pictures. So this one day I was moving my couch, right? And I was like, I'm right next to the window. I'm about to get a good shoot. I sat on this couch and a word, it dropped immediately. And I was like, I need to share this. And it was cool because I had already been quote unquote preaching on Instagram, which is very like unconventional. But I had already been speaking, about God and things like that on Instagram before. So I was like, since I have this word, I might as well go ahead and record. And since I'm a record, I might as well just go ahead and upload.
Yeah.
So, one thing that God's been working on me personally in this season is increasing my vulnerability. And I've been doing that by attacking fear head on, whether that's fear of man, fear of judgment, fear of rejection. Me being able to be vulnerable is the way that I attack fear. So anyways, I sat on the couch, I got curled up. I think I was sitting like this, just like that. And I just started to speak from the heart. I had no notes, I had no bullet points, but I had a word from God. So that's really when I just got on, started sharing, and that's where the first couch convo originated, like a couple weeks ago. And since then, I've started making a couple more, and that's definitely something that I see, going quite some ways. I'm interested in investing in equipment and, improving the lighting, because I feel like anything that God called you to do, you should do with excellence.
Amen.
So, yeah, I'm excited.
100%.
I'm excited.
That's exciting, especially because you literally let God use you in that moment. Like you said, no notes, no anything. So, all of that was coming for God. And I think that's so amazing because we realize that we can't do things with our own strength. So it's not like, because every time somebody says like, oh, you're doing so great with your like organization, with your brand and everything, I'm like, this is God's, because I had no doing in this at all. Like I had no clue. God tells me what to do, who to call, and it's like, okay, like it's just amazing. And I think couch combos, I enjoy it, honestly, truly. It's really, and I like that you are like, how you said God is teaching you how to be vulnerable. And I think during this pandemic, I think that is what people are trying to learn, because vulnerability is kind of hard, especially when you're a Black woman. It's just like,
we taught to hide everything.
Yeah. And it's like we have so much suppressed hurt and like anger. It's just like, all right, I'm just going to keep my little guard up while I can and just keep moving on with life. But the fact that he called you to talk about vulnerability in a time like this is beautiful. And I really enjoyed it. So that's another plug. Please go watch our couch convo.
Yeah, shameless plug.
Because I enjoy it, honestly, truly. So next question. I think we're actually really going through the questions very fast. So the last thing is positive words that you would like to tell your community.
Definitely, I would just say move forth from fear. So that's something that I'm dealing with right now. And I know we just discussed, like, whether that be fear of man, fear of rejection, move forward. And I talked about it. I took a walk yesterday and we're just talking on a video. And I was just like, it's all an illusion if you really think about it. Like, what's going on around the world, what you're thinking that people are thinking of you, it's an illusion. Don't worry about that, because ultimately what God tells you to do must be done. And if you don't do it, he's going to use somebody else. So that's what I would just say, is just walk forth from fear and in faith.
That is beautiful. Yeah, definitely. If God doesn't use you, he will use somebody else. And I just think, like, I don't even want God to do that. I want what he has for me. So I am going to listen to him and be like, oh, your mom. Hi.
Yeah, those pulled up.
But yes, I really love what you're doing at Everyday Esther. I think it's amazing. I am definitely going to, do you have like a place where we can like send donations or support in some way? You can I guess you can just kind of tell people where to find you, where to find Everyday Esther, how we can support the nonprofit and things of that sort.
Definitely. So www.everydayesther.org. The link is in the bio for my Instagram page, official Everyday Esther. And you can donate through the website. You can find out more about the nonprofit through the website, as well as through our Instagram page. So
that's great. Thank you. And if anyone has any questions or comments of that sort, we can take those now. But I really did enjoy this talk. I hope people benefit from it as much as I did, because it's interesting how God uses other people to speak to you. How you were talking about vulnerability, I think that's something that I am struggling with right now. So
I
it's
feel that.
crazy, like, whoo, it's like it hits right on the spot, like right there. So I'm just like, oh wow, shout out to God because he be knowing.
Right, exactly. And then just one more thing that just came to mind
But
is that like Black women, especially minority women, I feel like I'm so glad that we're on such platforms, because when people
mm-hmm.
see like, oh, a woman of color is doing this or a woman of color is doing that, you know, speaking on the behalf of God, that's so powerful, because it's like us Black women, we were talking about it earlier, how we both struggle with vulnerability. Um, it's crazy how we're meant to fulfill this superhero complex, this superwoman
Mm-hmm.
complex.
Yes.
Like we feel as though we have to be all things to everyone. And I just started realizing that. So I think now that I've come to terms with that, that's so powerful for me, because I feel like I can share that with others. So definitely, I'm excited for the both of us, you know, to
Thank
continue
you.
to
Yeah, so am
minister to
I.
women, especially minority women, because that is
Mm-hmm.
so important that we step out of the box and
Mm-hmm.
move forth in faith. So
And
yeah,
just to be obedient to God's call
and just be
because
obedient. Yeah,
he will call. In times you may not feel like doing it, but
right.
look, like Zipporah said, he will use somebody else if you
No,
don't
for real. I'm not a
obey and
prosperity preacher, so that's
you
just the
don't
truth.
want your gifts to be handed to somebody else. So I think you should just obey, honestly, truly.
Right,
But
exactly.
I enjoyed this. Thank you for chit
Thank
chatting with me
Yes.
today. Yes, I will save this live. So if anyone would like to go back and rewatch, or I'll even tag you in it so you can share it on your page. And yeah, great time. I enjoyed it. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you so
We
much.
shall keep in touch, and everyone stay in peace and stay blessed. All
All right.
right. See ya, girl.
I'll see you soon.
See ya.